I was living in a boarding house in a small town in the Western Cape, a province of South Africa. The town was centuries old, having been established in the late 1600s. The boarding house itself had been open since the early 1900s and was made up of 2 old houses, the one where the owner lived and the other divided into 8 rooms, 4 of which were for the men and 4 for the women, separated in the centre by a communal dining room and a lounge. Each of the wings had a communal bathroom. On the men's side, this was situated between the room that I was renting and the next one. My room was furnished with a single bed, a side table upon which a lamp stood, a desk, and a wardrobe that, although having been well preserved, one could see was quite old. The floor was polished parquet tiles with a small rug beside the bed. And now, on with the story. One night in late October, I was lying in bed listening to music on my Walkman and smoking a cigarette, having just turned out the bedside light when I saw a figure out of the corner of my eye. It was coming from where the wardrobe stood. The figure was of a slender woman dressed in a gown. She proceeded to dance across the parquet floor towards the foot of the bed, before vanishing almost as quickly as she had appeared. I switched on the lamp next to the bed and went to investigate. Of course there was no one there, so I went back to bed and after a while fell asleep. The following morning, I tried to convince myself that it had all been a dream, but when I examined the floor where the apparition had been before her disappearance, I could see faint but distinct footprints, too small and dainty to be my own, that came from in front of the cupboard, one even seeming to be under the wardrobe, which stood on 4 short wooden legs. Perturbed, I went for breakfast, saying nothing to anyone about the event. I was still trying to convince myself that I had been dreaming. Even during the busyness of the working day, I still found that my mind was preoccupied with what I had witnessed. 2 nights later, at almost exactly the same time, the dancing figure appeared once more. My reaction to both sightings was not one of fear, but intrigue. But this time, it was mingled with a sense of sadness. It was as if I knew that some tragic event was being replayed. It was the 3rd appearance that made me start asking questions. It was the same routine, except that at the end, instead of just disappearing, she seemed to fall to the floor as if in a faint. Again, when I inspected the place where she had fallen, I was certain I could see an outline where she had collapsed, the footprints still coming from the same side of the room. First, I spoke to the owner, who informed me that they had only recently taken over the boarding house, and although they didn't dismiss what I told them, could not offer me an explanation. The husband then suggested that I ask an elderly lady whose name was Hester. She had been a resident at the boarding house for many years and had moved to an old age home at the start of that year. When I mentioned the events to Hester Dupree's, she told me that I was not the first to witness Sonja's ghost. I was informed that Sonja had lived in that room back in the 1950s and had been a ballet dancer before contracting cancer. She was in her mid-20s when this happened, but she continued dancing until her illness became too severe, at which time she retired to the small town. She stayed in the same room where you are now. Hester said, at the time, the bathroom was en suite, and the door to the bathroom was behind where your wardrobe stands now. That explained why the figure always emerged from that side of the room. Every night we could see her dance from the bathroom to her bed. She was so graceful, and then one night, while she was dancing, she collapsed to the floor at the foot of her bed. I rushed to her room while one of the other residents went to the phone in the main house to call for an ambulance. She was struggling to breathe and could not speak. Eventually help arrived, but it was too late. Sonja was already gone. Since then, the 2 sections of the boarding house had been switched around, and the ensuite bathroom became the communal bathroom. But, as Hester had pointed out, on the same week as the dancers passing, those who stayed in room 4, the room that I was renting, would witness a reenactment of Sonja's last few days, ending with her finale.
If you like our content, please leave a like and subscribe as well.